Hi everyone, it's Lisa here. I'm back today to share the May 2021 Picket Fence Studios release with you. As I do each month, I'm going to run you through all the new sets and also show you my cards that I've made with the new goodies. Just after I filmed that little intro for you, the sun came out, and whilst I hate to block the sun out at any time of the year, I couldn't see what I was showing you, so I've had to stop filming and pull a blind down and start again. So if you see any difference in the filming, that is why, but hopefully you'll be able to see the sets better now. First up, I've got a set here called Dandelions Delight. This is a really lovely set, one of my favourites this month. It's one of the largest sets from Picket Fence, and you've got these 4 dandelions here which you can stamp as a silhouette against a background, or you could heat emboss them and do some ink blending, you know, do some emboss resist or something like that, or just stamp them as a silhouette, whatever you want. But it's a really lovely set, and you've got this stamp at the top here, so this is all one stamp, which kind of has got the you know, the bits of the dandelions flying away. I don't know how to describe them, but it's really nice, so you get that kind of movement across the card. So you could use this on an A2 and a slimline card. I kept mine quite simple today. I actually only used a couple of the dandelions, but this is the card that I made, and I did an ink smooshed background for that, and then I just stamped 2 of the dandelions on. I used navy ink, which I've never done for a silhouette before, but I felt black was going to be too stark for it, and so I went with a navy blue ink in the end, and it's such a pretty set. If you head over to the website, you'll see some other examples from the design team where they've got the lovely kind of wispy bits flying away across the panel. But this sentiment here is from a previously released set. All these details are going to be over on my blog in the next couple of days. I'll be sharing more details of all the cards that I'm going to show you today over the next few days there, but that is my first card. The next set that I'm going to share with you is the Tropical Hibiscus Bouquet set, a really lovely floral, doesn't have a die with it, it's really easy to cut out, so you really wouldn't need a die. Got some accompanying sentiments as well. So for those of you that like to colour, this is a really lovely set, so pretty. I went a bit of a different colourway with mine. I know hibiscus are quite bright, but I seem to love coral colours at the moment. So this is the card that I created. I did some Copic colouring and I added some pencil detail. And then I felt that the background, the white panel, was a little bit stark. And so I took the netting cover plate die from a month or so. I think it was either last month's release or the one before. I hadn't got round to using it, and I added a few bits of netting just behind to add a little bit of extra interest to the card, and that sentiment there is from the set. So that is my second card for you. I've got 3 of these inserts to show you today. This first one is the palm tree insert. So all these inserts work in conjunction and they complement the Slimline die cutting system sets that I've been showing you over the past 4 or 5 months. So those 3 sets are large die sets, and they have all the elements you need to create your slimline cards. So you have some rectangles, you have scallop rectangles, you've got some word dies, you've got all sorts of things that will help you create and layer up elements on your slimline cards, and these are an addition to that. So you can cut inserts, and that is a palm tree insert, so you can include that in the slimline card. You can also use it on an A2, of course. You've got one here called the Coral Reef insert, and then you've got one here called the Mermaid insert. And of course the Coral Reef and the Mermaid will pair up really well with many of the sets that were released over the last couple of months. So this is the card that I created with the set. So you can see the insert there. I did just cut it from different coloured cardstocks and I layered them up and put some foam tape behind. But my background is this set called Ice Cream Snacks, and I just stamped that in grey. So I'm using quite a few elements from the die cutting system. I've got the scallop rectangle behind, of course the insert there. The circle was cut with one of the circles from one of the die sets, which also cuts a little frame, which I've used around my circle there. That sentiment again is from, I think it's from Do Good Recklessly again. I really love that set, but I thought I would include that on my card. And this is the background builder set. So this is the Ice Cream Snack set. And this is one of those where you can line up the different edges and repeat stamp it across your panel. So I thought that would go well with the palm tree insert. I'm going to move on to the stencils now. There's lots of stencils this month. You've got several different butterfly stencils, plus you've got some other stencils for drinks, which I'm going to show you a bit later on. My first card, I decided to do a shaker card, and I've used this butterfly stencil here. This is called Soar Butterfly. I really like all the open areas in this one. Really pretty stencil. Of course you can kind of tilt it across the card. You can even do this across a slimline. I've seen somebody use it in that way. So a really pretty stencil. That is the card that I created. I'll just knock the sequins down. Really lovely image when it's kind of tilted to the side, and I decided to do some ink blending around it, and I turned it into a shaker. I've used 3 different sequin mixes here. All of these are going to be listed over on my blog. And then this sentiment here is called Sending Love. That is one of the new word dies this month. And this is it here. So you've got the word die and the shadow. I didn't use the shadow, I just took it as, I just die cut the word element and just popped it on the front of my acetate panel there. So that was one of my cards using the butterfly stencils. These are the remaining 4 stencils. You've got the dart butterfly stencil there. This one is called Flutter Butterfly Stencil. Sorry, whipping that over all the time. I just need to check the names. I haven't used that one. You have got this one here. This is really pretty. I hope to get to use that soon. This is called the Zing Butterfly Stencil. And then this last one here is the Wander Butterfly Stencil. Again, they're all sized the same and they would work on A2 or Slimline. But the Dark Butterfly Stencil is the one that I used on my next card. So this is the card that I created. Now I used my gel press for this card, and I spent about an hour playing with backgrounds and the different stencils. And when I came to write up the blog post, I wasn't 100% sure how I got to this end result. I mean, I don't know if that ever happens to any of you. You're playing around, and I don't make notes on everything. I rely on my memory, which is probably not a good idea. But I think what I did here was I created a light background. This was probably the second pull off the gel press of the colours that I'd laid down, and then I think what I must have done was inked up the back of the stencil with the same colours, spritzed it with water and then laid it back down again. I'm not sure I could have got to this result any other way, but I am going to have a play around and see if I can do it again. I love how it turned out. I love the brightness of this butterfly against the pale background. Of course they coordinate, the colours are the same. And this sentiment is from a previously released set. So that was my 4th card, or 5th card I should say. For my final card, I wanted to use the Dream With Me cover plate die. I think this is going to be a really popular die this month. It is an A2 size die, but obviously you've got some areas missing there. You've got the little girl on a swing there, you've got a moon and some stars and your night sky there. So it looks really pretty as a silhouette, but You can also watercolour it and all sorts of things just to create a different look. So I went with doing it as a silhouette. So I die cut the cover die from black cardstock and I put some gold behind it, and then I created a watercolour background to look like a sky, and then I just inserted that behind. So I love how this turned out. I think it looks really pretty with the blue sky. And then it says, "Then you came into my life." That was from a previously released set. So as I've said earlier, the details will be over on my blog for all of my cards over the next few days. So I don't know how well you can see the gold behind, but really, really pretty set, and I'm sure that one's going to be very popular this month. Moving on now to the sets that I didn't get to use this month. So I've got a couple of stencils for you. This is the Tropical Drinks stencil. Really like this set. Of course, you can ink blend through this with all different colours to create your drinks. You've got the positive and the negative there as well. And then you've got another set called margarita. So again, it's based around sort of cocktails and things. You've got the cocktail shaker there and the glass there. So again, you get the positive and the negative on both of those. And next I've got some colouring sets for you, so some outline image sets. I've got two here. The one on the left is called Virgo Girl and the one on the right is called Libra Girl, and I'm guessing that they're going to bring out the whole series of these over the coming months or so. And you've got sentiments that go along with it. You've got some little constellations there. You've got the relevant signs. And yeah, they're really nice, of course, if you want to colour, and you can do a stencil background or something behind them, whatever you want to use for your background. You've also got a set here called Nice Seeing You. This is one of the largest sets. And this is all around reconnecting with people as we come out of restrictions, and you can see there all the people with their phones there. That's how we've been living our lives, hasn't it, over the last year or so. But this is a really fun set with some great sentiments again, and yeah, another one that's fab to colour. The next set I've got to show you is another one of the background stamps. This is called This Cat Is For You. So this is one of these where you can repeat stamp it according, you know, you line up these edges next to each other. So you can make a panel as big as you want with these sets. They're really clever how they work. And of course you can colour that and colour all the cats in as well. And then I've got a die to show you. This is the last of the dies. This is a 7-inch die, Happy Birthday, so it works really well along a slimline card, but you can separate out the two words, but it doesn't have a shadow, so you can just separate out the two words on that. So could also be used on an A2, but you'd probably have to use that in its horizontal format on an A2, but it would work on both. For all you paper glaze fans out there, me included, although I didn't get a chance to play with these this month, I'm hoping to get a bit more time over the next week or so. They have decided to bring out ombre sets of the paper glazes. At the moment there's about 20 singular colours, and some of them you can match up to make a kind of ombre effect on your card. But to make it easier for you, you've now got these two sets. And this is a purple set. You've got sunset purple, so you can see here you've got A, B and C, and then of course you've got the different colours like that, so you've got light, medium and a dark. Difficult to see on the camera there. Really easy way of creating an ombre on your panel. And there's also a blue set here, so you've got the sky blues A, B and C. Again, you've got the light, medium and the darker colour there. So these are really pretty, and I hope I get a chance to play with these over the next few months. So keep an eye on my blog, as I'm sure I'm going to have something using those for you soon. Last but not least, I've got two sequin mixes and a gem mix to share with you. The gem mix is called Sands of Time. This is really pretty. You've got golds and silvers in there. Didn't use that this month, but I love the gem mixes. The sequin mixes I tend to use in shaker cards, but obviously gem mixes, you could use it in a shaker, but I tend to pick out the individual gems and put them on a card. But that is the first of the gem mix from this month. And 2 sequin mixes. The first is called Vegas Baby. This is beautiful. It's kind of corals, pinks, a few light pinks, it's kind of like a shell pink, clear sequins. And I always think sequin mixes look best in a shaker card because you really see the impact of all the lovely colours. But I took a few of them from the mix and used them on this card here just around the sentiment. And then the final sequin mix is called Jewel of the Nile. This is purples and silvers, like a dark purple, light purple, clear. You've got an iridescent sequin in there as well, which picks up the colours of the others. And I used them on this card here again around the sentiment. So they're not really obvious. Obviously they add a bit of bling, but I really love to use sequin mixes in a shaker, as I think that's where they look best. That brings us to the end of the release for this month. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing all the new products and the cards that I have created for you. All the links are going to be in the description below, and of course I will have an accompanying blog post over on my blog, and that will be linked below also. But thanks again, and I will be back to share some more with you soon.